Before we get into the meat of the matter, what exactly is a Delverlike? What I'm counting as a Delverlike is this. You go to an area, you complete tasks in that area while monsters or any enemy of any kind are just roaming around trying to find you and kill you. You complete those tasks and then you return to the mode of transport. You go into a different area each time. If there's a shop, there's a shop. If there's cards or any upgrades that you can get, there's that. If I need to be any more specific than that, then I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, now that you kind of know the general preface of what I'm counting as a Delverlike here, let's get into it. Two things before this starts. One, I'm going to be completely subjective about my opinion here. Alright? I am in no way a proper game reviewer by any means, let alone a good critic. But I have gone through these games myself and I want to share my own opinions about them. If you feel any different way about any of these games I'm about to cover, then that is fine. You may talk about it in the comments, but please do not harass anybody. I would like for this to be civil and as non-aggressive as possible. Now, second, why is Dolly's Factory here? I know the game is basically cancelled, but I couldn't help it, man. Like, this is probably my favorite Delver on the platform. And even though it's not going to keep getting updated, I just felt like it needed to be here because, you know, why not? There's a lot of things about this game that has already been said, so I feel like I won't need to say it again, but one thing I want to bring up this time around is the communication and, like, just, like, the involvement the community has, like, in this game. Because, like, you know, if you're in the Discord, which most of you probably aren't, at least anymore, but if you are still, congratulations, you still are, but, like, in the community server, like, they did so many things to, like, just talk with the community. When it came to lore, they had, like, Q&As, which weren't always, like, important, like, things, but, like, you know, they're always, like, in character, like, canon interactions. They made comics to, like, show off lore tidbits and whatnot. They made videos and all that. There were skin contests, some of them one of them never really got finished. I mean, one of them did finish. It was the summer one, but you know, the winners were never really announced. Oh yeah, hell, I even became a quote-unquote official content creator for the game. And tell me, what other game would have allowed a guy with like 1,000 subscribers to be like labeled as a content creator for such a game? And honestly, I don't know. You may think I'm a little biased, and maybe I am, because, you know, I have the most association with this game compared to most of the others that are going to be here, but I don't know, I feel like this game was worth mentioning, because, like, I feel like it wouldn't hurt you to try it, right? It's not helping anybody anymore to play the game, as unfortunate as that is, but I still think it's something you should at least check out once, even if just for a little bit. Anyways, I'm done ranting about Dolly's Factory. I miss this game, and I'm sure a lot of other people do too, but as much as I can go on and on about it, I won't. I have other things I need to get to. For example,
killing a person ain't no big deal. Just put the gun to their head. Pow.
One more thing I want to discuss before we actually get into everything is that, I'm gonna try and dissociate the game from any outside drama that I may have. I know it's what affects most people's opinions about games, but to me, I just want to enjoy the game itself. If the game is good, I'm gonna at least play it from time to time. Now that I've said that, we can truly appreciate how very mid this game actually is. Now, I don't want to discredit the game and just say it's a cash grab. I know it's using a previous IP, but hey, sometimes fan games like these can be pretty good. That being said, this is not one of them. I'm not gonna lie, this one feels the most like Danny's World, and I don't think that's a good thing. The main difference in skill checks is the fact that there's a blue perfect area, but this isn't even something that's unique to this game in particular, and I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. The enemies in this game are also something that very much exist. I think? I don't really know. These guys aren't really that troublesome, to be honest. Seriously, I wish I had more to say about these creatures, but the one round I played that went to like floor 10 or something, I only saw that red little hammer girl, and to be honest, she's not even that interesting to begin with. Now, this game does have floor events, and the first one is in terms of a mid-floor blackout. I don't know how intentional it was, but it did scare me for the first time. And first time only. I'll be honest, this is not very interesting, and this is just something I wanted to bring up, because at least it did something unique. I take it back, it's actually not that special. Now, there is a boss encounter, and another one that came from a new update that I have not played yet, but to be honest, I now feel like revisiting this game just to get footage of it. The old one wasn't interesting though. You just kind of walked around, find machines, and then that big old thing attacks you every once in a while. And yeah, that's actually kind of just it. I know I said I wouldn't discredit the game, but I kind of find it hard not to when this is just how I feel about it. So yeah, this is kind of just a worse version of Danny's World in my opinion, and I don't think it tries to hide that idea either. But yeah, I would not recommend this one. I mean, if you like it, that's fine. That's whatever. I personally don't at all. But, you know, we all have our different opinions. Just like... This one is pretty interesting. For starters, it has the most divisive like to dislike ratio I've seen in any of these games. And that's kind of strange. I mean, what's there to hate about this game? I mean, sure, it's not the most convoluted thing in the world, but I don't think it's that bad, right? Oh. Let's talk character design first, because honestly, this is the first time that it's starting to kind of make me wonder what they were thinking. Now, I'm gonna say something a little wild here, but these look like low-budget Spanish kid show characters, and the only thing I have to back me up is the group description being written in Spanish and the fact that the studio's name is literally named Bananito. Other than that, the game's pretty fine, actually. However, a little something happened on my first playthrough of the game that took me by complete surprise. What are these? I'm almost there, I'm patient. What? Oh. Yeah, the enemies talk in this game, and to be honest, it's kind of weird. It also freaks me out a lot. Okay, now to actually start talking about the game. There's a few things going for this game that make it quite interesting, in my opinion. For starters, there's these broken items on the ground that, when you pick them up and actually use them, they're basically hindering you for some reason. I don't know why these exist, but I think it's kind of funny. Not gonna lie, I definitely sabotaged myself a few times just using these things, but ultimately they're worthless, and I'm sure you can probably sell them in the shop or something, but I haven't really done that. Alright, for the objectives, there's actually 2 variants of them as far as I'm aware, but honestly, they're actually not that bad, and I kind of like them. You got the rituals, which you just saw right there, and they're pretty standard. You got a little puzzle that you get to solve, and if you get a good combo, you can actually solve it way quicker, which I like a lot. The second machine type are these weird crystal machines, which I don't really know what the purpose is, but all you have to do to complete them is grab 2 crystals that you'll find around the map, and boom, that's it. Do keep in mind though, if you're going to get these crystals, make sure you turn them in quick, because they will disappear from your hand after a while if you pick them up for too long. I'm pretty sure this is like some sort of like anti-AFK measure, just to make sure people don't just stand around with the crystals not doing anything with them, but still, I'd just be quick about it. Once you beat a floor, you'll be met with a temporary elemental shop, which you can use the elemental currency that you got in the Elemental 4 to get elemental abilities. I'm sorry, that is a mouthful. Jesus Christ. Now, I actually kind of like this idea, because not only do these abilities not interfere with the current items that you can get and buy in the other shop in the elevator, but they do help out quite a bit actually. For example, some of them heal you, some of them give you more stamina, some of them just straight up protect you from getting hit, and etc, etc. And I do like that they act like a second set of like abilities that you can do. And you only get a few charges on them each time, so you gotta be mindful of when you're actually using them. But, you know, I do like that. Another thing is the map hazards that happen every once in a while, one of them being the flooding hazard, which basically just fills the ground with water. If you fail to get up there, you'll be wet, and you'll lose all your stamina. Take that as you will. Now would be a good time to bring up the boss, and to be honest, this is probably one of the weirdest ones I'm going to be talking about today, so bear with me here. This is Krogar, the giant massive frog person that we're going to have to feed them in order to progress. I don't know why this is, but it is the way it is. Once he realizes we laced his shit with fentanyl, he starts to attack us with the most easy to predict attack pattern I've ever seen in my life. I'll be honest though, he still somehow hits me sometimes. I don't really know how, but otherwise this boss is actually pretty easy. It's just weird because, I don't know man, something about him makes me uncomfortable, and he also just does not shut up about his brother and his own diet. There's only one thing I wanted to discuss left. One of the map hazards is like this weird time thing, and if you don't complete the map in time, the map destabilizes and the place gets covered in fog. Now, this doesn't really affect anything on the floor you're currently in, but in the next floor, a strange entity appears in the form of a giant Spider-Man. Now, as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure he acts like every other Grim Crafter. The only difference is that his presence alone makes you lose most of your stamina and you only have 50 left. And being in the zone that he's in actually gives you a little bit more stamina than you used to. Personally, I think he's okay, but he's not really anything worth noting, other than the fact that he exists and he can help you if you beat him. I'll be honest, it's hard for me to say if I can truly recommend this game to anybody, but I think it's worth trying at least once or twice. It's nothing to write home about, but who knows, maybe it'll be your type of thing once you get into it. If you're wondering why I'm pairing these two games together, it's because they're both kind of, you know, not too crazy at the moment. Obviously, they're very early access and kind of whatnot shenanigans, so there's not much going on in them, but I feel like it's still worth covering them because I want to bring attention to their name, and if you don't know about them now, you will. Yeah. Tropicaland's up first. Tropicaland? I don't know. This one actually starts off by showing you how this game works, and I actually kind of like that, so props to this game for doing that. The objectives are kind of just simple tasks that you gotta do, and boom, you're done. I don't really know what the point of them is, but hey, they exist. And you know what? I don't hate them. Now, I'm gonna be honest here. I actually do kind of like these maps. They're very reminiscent of a resort hotel. It's almost like this is some sort of tropical island. And also, like, they're pretty small, and the rooms are also very small, so it leaves a lot of opportunity to just accidentally get caught in a bad spot. And I kind of like that. As dangerous as these areas are, they're not impossible to escape a chase either. Speaking of chases, you'll notice that this game actually has a little something called a sanity meter, which is something that carries over to a few other games. I don't really know what the point of this is or what happens if it drains completely, but I'm pretty sure it's to avoid any distractor-like gameplay, and to be honest, I can appreciate that. Danny's World suffers from the idea of distractors possibly just, you know, making it easy to just breeze through the game, so the fact that these games try to find a way around that, I kinda like. Now, funnily enough, this game actually does have a boss encounter, and I kinda like it. There are two big piranha plant creatures, Furnick and Feral. Weirdly enough, this is another boss encounter where you actually have to feed someone in order to continue. However, Furnick is actually just chill like that and is quite the homie, so, I mean, I'm okay with it this time. The more you feed Furnick, the more little guy piranha people just kind of start spawning and wandering around and try to either chase you or alert Feral to your location. And to be honest, it actually makes this boss quite exciting the further you go into it. Once you do Furnick a solid and feed him 10 slugs, he'll do us a solid and just kill us around the spot. I'm not joking, this bug happened to me when I first played the game, and to be honest, I don't think I'm missing too much from the rest of the game, so for now, I'm just gonna put it at that. Now, disregarding, that previous game, we have another game that was suggested to me last minute. Which is the FunHouse. Or just FunHouse, I guess. No idea what this is. All alone now. You can now self-heal. Oh, wow. That's crazy. So it literally just says, yep, you're fucked. Here, you can do this now, at least. Sorry, what? Oh. Oh, okay. Ah, okay. For 5 seconds. Oh. Hell nah. What is that? Huh. Nice. Oh. What am I doing? What? Oh. Different thing. Just go. Okay. Alright, I do like these mini games though. These are certainly a nice little addition. Ooh, what in the world is this? Oh, I'm safe here. Oh, I don't want to do this. Help. Get me out of here. Okay. I wanna see. So remember I can take these down. What is this, a health pack, right? Yeah, okay. Take a break here. Okay, so what? Okay, so every 5 areas you get a break. This is better than Danny'sville. Danny'sville giving you one every 25 floors. Come on. Like, are you genuinely serious? This is a break room done. I mean, they're basically the same thing. They gave you items and whatnot, but like this one appears more often, so you can take breaks more often. Well, in Danny's world, you're basically like being asked to do long runs only, and therefore I like it. I like this one. Did my soaps despawn? Miss, the bloody mist has arrived. Cryptids are capable of taking 2 hearts out of you, but any are applied for double. Oh dear. Okay. What the hell? Oh dear. Oh my god. What? Hell nah, bro. Oh, he's still after me. Oh, hell nah. Get me the hell out of here. Oh, hey, I found the last one. Ah, shoot. I might be dead. Not you right now. I don't need...
Long before the Skidlets world were born, there was only the void. And in that endless black, something stirred, an echo, left behind when the first light was cast. That echo became a name. Ninjago!
Spoiler alert, I actually have played this game before, just to see what it was like, and to be honest, I am not that excited about revisiting it. First of all, I gotta talk about these characters, man. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably my least favorite roster in these games. Just look at the options we have here. Most of these designs feel like there's very little thought behind them, and just that, hey, you know what would be funny? If we added a fucking Toast character. You can also just see it in their names. They're not creative in any way, they're just words. Also, the balancing is just non-existent. Most characters are objectively better than others, and hell, there's even one that just has max stats and everything. And they don't even cost Robux to play, so like, what's the point? I don't get it. At the start of each run, we're met with a little bit of a cutscene, and then boom, right into gameplay. Short, sweet, and to the point. You know what? Screw it. That's fine. Sure. This game has a hide mechanic that literally only exists for this first match, so I don't really know why it's in the game to begin with, but sure, you know what? Appreciate it, I guess. The objectives never get more variety, and they're just basically the same thing throughout the entire game. Maybe it's because I was playing alone that this game felt so long and boring, but to me, this is just not fun and interesting. There's no substance here. You just put the thing in the thing, and then you take a cube and then put it back all the way to the portal. You can only carry one at a time, so yeah, you better hope you have people in your lobby, otherwise this is gonna take forever. Hell, even the enemies look stupid. I was gonna originally praise them for how big and imposing they all look, but like, now that I think about it, no, they don't really actually. In fact, they're actually slower than you most of the time, so hell, you're not really threatened by them, and the maps are so big, it's very easy to just not encounter them at all. The only thing I can properly praise about this game is the fact that there's at least a variety of locations. Sure, there's no consistent theme between them, but I mean, you know what? Sure, I'll give credit where credit is due. I like the variety of maps we have here. I ended up dying on this sci-fi looking map, which has the only unique task I was able to find in this game, which is Among Us wires. The main reason I died was because a lot of the doors were closed and I was generally lost on where to go, and the fact that the oxygen would have killed me anyways, I don't think I was going to be lasting very long here. Looking back, I still feel like this game is better than the Cookie Run Kingdom game, but I don't know, it's not much better, and to be honest, the Cookie Run Kingdom game is very low bar to beat, so I don't know, it's not that impressive to me. If you want to play this game, go ahead, but I wouldn't personally recommend it. This one is the one I have the most mixed feelings about. I mean, it has some good ideas, and while there's aspects of it I do like, there's also other aspects of it that I don't necessarily really care that much about. I know I gave the Skidlets a lot of shit for their character designs, but like, I feel like these are second to worst, honestly. Some of these designs I like, some of them I don't, and some of them I kinda just tolerate. These names aren't really doing them any favors either. I mean, one of them is literally just called Beam, and Doc, and Yang, and Roto. The only really good one is Twilight, but then again, that's the main character. I'm not gonna hassle you guys too much about the characters this time, but just know I'm not a big fan of them. This game's supposed to be able to have 8 characters at a time, but the elevator's so small, it only feels like it's supposed to be like 4 or something. It doesn't affect gameplay at all, it's just a little funny thing I noticed. Before we do get into gameplay though, I do want to mention one more thing about the lobby that I honestly really like. Now obviously you have your bright lighting, with portraits of the characters scattered around, right? Now don't get me wrong, I'm not ranking these lobbies at all, but like, if I did, this is probably going up there as one of my favorites, just because of this little detail. It's just so unnecessary, but honestly, I like it. I appreciate the fact that they went out of their way to do it. Alright, for real now, gameplay time. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the aesthetic here. I also like the vibe of it all. But this map at the beginning kinda gets a little stale too quickly. Now, I couldn't tell you for the life of me whether or not this map is actually changing throughout some of these floors, but it doesn't really feel that way, and I don't think that's a good thing. Most of the spirits also don't really behave too differently from each other. I'm pretty sure there's like different speed values and whatnot, but for the most part they all act the same, except for a few select ones, which we'll get to. The main normal objectives also are very uninteresting. They're basically just a different coat of paint of the Dandy's World objectives, and actually no, that's just it. Now floor 3 is when things get fun and interesting, and I actually mean it. You're given 2 new objectives that the game does not tell you how to do or how to handle it whatsoever. The only reason why I know how to do it is because I've literally done it before. But when I first played this, I had no idea what to do, and I was stuck on this floor for like minutes on end. Now, don't get me wrong. I do like this objective. The idea of having to trap the enemies themselves into boxes in order to continue the game, I like that. In fact, it leaves a lot of room for like, you know, strategies, like, hey, I gotta pick out specific enemies I want to get rid of, and in return, I can continue the process, which is good. I like that. I like the objective itself. The problem stems from the fact that the game does not tell you what exactly to do. Take this room for example, floor 14, when the elevator broke down and I had to go into this little maintenance room area. There's these iron doors that I didn't really know what to do with them. And I was too afraid to go near them myself because, well, they were spiky. What if I accidentally went in there and killed myself? I didn't know what these doors did, and the game never told me anything about them either. It was until I finally had the idea to lead a thing near them when I realized that these things are basically the boxes from earlier. And, you know, in hindsight, I should have assumed as such, but also, like, I feel like it's on the game for not telling me anything, because, like, again, we haven't encountered this kind of objective before. And yes, well, yes, we have, but also no, because it's in a different, like, area and setting and, like, little thing. I assumed it was different, and it wasn't. Now, if you ask me about anything I actually liked in this game, it's the actual setting of it. Yeah, I know it's nothing groundbreaking compared to everything else in the genre, but I don't know, this one just kind of speaks to me. Maybe that says something about me specifically, but hey, like I said, my opinion and my videos, so if you disagree with me, you are... Remember when I said I wanted to mention the 3 unique behaving enemies in this game? Well, I lied. I'm only going to mention one of them, and that's Twilight herself. This twisted dandy-esque encounter is probably one of my favorite parts about this game. Not only does she traverse the floor quicker than most of the other spirits in the game, but upon finding you, she lets out a loud screech which immediately slows you down, meaning, yeah, you better hope nobody else is catching you around this time, otherwise you are fucked. She's not exactly too unique beside that, but to be honest, I appreciate the effort. You know, just saying that just made me realize how much I actually hyped this game up for no reason. I did mention at the start of this portion that this is the most mixed feelings I had for one of these games, and well, honestly, it kind of shows here. There are obviously some things I really like the setting and some of the characters, but other than that, I just don't really have much to say about it. It's kind of just a lesser version of other games that you've already seen me talk about. And it kind of sucks because I actually kind of want to like this one, but oh well. I completely understand it if you don't want to check this one out. I honestly don't think I made a good enough case for it, but I mean, hey, if it interests you, Twilight Zone's the name, and you know what to look for. I know I said this word a lot in this video, but I actually really do like Anchored, and I mean it this time. And I've actually played this game over a year ago, so yeah, I actually have a history with this game. The objectives can be kind of fun, the enemies are understandable but also kind of hard to deal with sometimes. Hell, you get mid-run quests in this game, which I don't think any of the other games actually do this. There's actually more than one boss fight, and while they're all kind of simple, they're also kind of fun and engaging in a certain way. Also, unlike every other game on this list, this one actually has an ending. Yes, the ending will shock you. No, it's not for the reason you think. I also like how far they've come when it comes to designing the characters. Before, they were just kind of a, you know, a little dummy character with like beady eyes and just separate pairs of clothing on. But now, ever since the redesign update, they've given each character a little bit more personality, as well as different clothing and different, like, attributes and other stuff, and I like that, you know? Now, my playtime with this game has been very much scattered across the months, so I don't really know which areas are still in the game and which ones are not, but just know, whenever I have played this game before in the past without recording, I have encountered a wide variety of areas, some even just not really related to the whole theming of the game. Looking to take a break from your extremely long run? Well, you can go ahead and save it in one of the 3 slots you're given. The only caveat is that obviously I'm pretty sure this needs to be a solo run in order for you to do it, but hey, the fact that you can just save a run and go back to it anytime, like, why doesn't every game have this? If lore is your strong suit and the only thing you're interested in, well, you'll be happy to know this game also has you covered on that front. During your runs, you'll be finding timelines, discs, documents, you know, all the sorts of stuff. And once you go back to the lobby in Paige's library, you'll be able to look through things, and it basically just tells you the lore right in your face. Now, listen, as much as I like theory crafting about games' lores and whatnot, a lot of these Delverlikes just kind of end up being really vague in it, and sometimes it doesn't even feel like they have that much lore underneath them when even though everyone's like theorizing about everything. But I'm just glad Anger at least like tells us stuff, you know? Honestly, out of all the games I played for this video, I think Anger's the one I would recommend to you the most. It has a lot of stuff for it, and honestly, I think the devs did really good with the game. So, go ahead. I'll leave the game link in the description as well as every other game I've covered here, and let's move on to the last subject I have for this video. Also, go play the Summer Event, it's live right now. Now listen, I don't want you to judge me for making these honorable mentions, not full segments of the video. I know the whole purpose of this video is supposed to be introducing you to like a bunch of Delverlikes that you may or may not know about, or have at least tried before. But listen, I've been editing this video for way too long, so I'm just gonna make these brief, okay? Hey, look at that, it's Cleaning Crew. I was actually thinking about covering this one for real, but I actually suck really bad at the game, so I couldn't really get too far in it to get enough footage. But I highly recommend you check this one out. I actually really like it, and I think it's enjoyable. And I think it's also way better when you play with other people, so keep that in mind. Spelunking is honestly a game I forgot even existed. Same thing with Elavation. I don't think they're bad games, but I haven't even played them, and to be honest, considering these are in honorable mentions, I don't think I will. Also, apparently Elavation is the origin of Delverlikes on Roblox, which is pretty cool. Last but not least, Fuzzy Horizons. This one was actually recommended to me by a friend last minute, and I honestly did not even know it existed. Now, of course, out of obligation of a friendship, I did play this one, and you want to know how long I spent? 1 hour and 17 minutes. So, here's a uncut, dry, raw footage of me playing this game by 150 times speed. Did you catch any of that? The game's actually okay, but I felt like I was in a fever dream while playing it, and to be honest, thinking about it is making me get a headache again, so let's just move on to the last game, okay? Whew, okay, home stretch. I can do this. This is Toon Universe, one of the more popular options here, along with FunHouse. There's a few things you can already realize just by looking at the stats here. 1, sanity is back, and 2, there's 2 separate types of extraction speeds, which means there's probably going to be multiple objectives we're going to have to complete. Another thing that immediately caught my attention was the leveling system. Apparently, if you get all the way to level 100 on a single character, you can get an emblem. Whatever. And considering the fact there's no emblems in the shop, I have a feeling they're going to be exclusive to completely maxing out characters, which I don't know how to feel about, but you know what? You do you, game. Something I like is that in the early stages, the game kinda helps you out a little bit, like for example, the 2 objectives on this floor are highlighted. The 2 separate objectives are computer hacking and whatever this Icar machine-esque thing is, both of which have very traditional and easy to do skill checks. Once you complete all current objectives, you'll be forced to complete one more main objective, or multiple considering how many machines there are. I do feel like there's a missed opportunity with the main objective here because it's quite literally just either computer hacking or holding this lever for whatever reason. And it's nothing unique, and I have a feeling that, you know, you could have done something a little more unique for the quote-unquote main objective of the floor, but oh well, I digress. This game, like most others, also have floor events like sleeping gas and mid-floor blackouts, and the elevator breaking down so you have to do yet another thing in order to fix it. I apologize if I make it sound like I'm not having that much fun in this game. I am, but it's just not much really different compared to everything else, to be honest. I will say, thank God you can actually give people healing items in this game. I still feel like it'd make more sense to just be able to drop items in general, but oh well, if they're going to go with this item system, I at least like the fact that you can still give healing to each other. There's also some fun variety in the enemies. One with tentacles, one with a trail of slowness, there's one with tentacles, one with an active slowness trail. However, my favorite has to be this little unicorn thing here. In fact, I think it's the most unique one this game has to offer. Every once in a while she pops up, and if you interact with her, she can give you healing. Or, if you're unlucky, she'll just straight up attack you. And the interesting part is, she will lock onto you no matter what. I will say, this game isn't the most groundbreaking thing ever, but it doesn't need to be. I like it for what it is, and hey, I think you should too. It does feel more polished than some of the other games on this list, so that's probably why I like it a little bit more, but oh well. I had fun with this one, and honestly, I think you should check this one out as well. Whew, well, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll... Huh? What the... Who the fuck was that? This better not be who I think it is. Otherwise I got my tape here. For the past 2 years, it has been a great struggle trying to bring myself to fully like Danny's World. The same way goes for actually trying to hate it too. Above anything else, this game feels like the most medium game I could possibly think of, to be honest. The gameplay is very slow and monotonous, especially in the later floors, which, to be fair, most people don't really get to anyways, but that's not the only problem either. Some tunes just get outclassed by other objectively better tunes with sometimes better stats and just completely better abilities, or at worst, just a cooler character to actually pay attention to. The objectives are fine, they're boring at the end of the day, but like at the same time, I can't really complain about them. Although, I will say, I do like the Swimming Barnaby one. That is by far my favorite objective in this game, and I just wish it was more common, because I really love that minigame, and I want to play it more. Not this version, though. This version actually sucks. Why is this in the lobby? The Twisteds are also very okay, I guess. Like, trust me, some of them are good. I like some of them. They have cool designs, cool gimmicks, but most of them are just kind of there, you know? Like, it feels like the only reason why they exist is because the tune exists. And every tune has to have their corresponding Twisted. And you can tell this just by looking at the comments, where they just didn't really have any ideas for the Twisted themselves and just said, hey, let's give them a slightly different stat and just call it a day, putting them in the comment section. And I don't like that, you know? Like, I'm not saying every single Twisted needs to be like unique and have its own capabilities. It's fine to have some duds in there, and you know, I think it's best for the game that way. So that way, you know, beginners can just like get used to the game easier with the commons. But I feel like there's too many commons, you know? A lot of the trinkets in this game also just kind of suck generally. Like, sure, they have some cool and niche abilities that can be helpful, but like, they're never anything that like you're gonna want to replace like speed boosts or extractions or skill check boosts for. And that's kind of the problem. Other than that, they're just fine. I would still wish that they gave us a third trinket slot so we can play around with some setups more, but oh well, whatever. This game also made me realize just how much we take for granted the ability to drop items in other games, because holy shit. The fact that you cannot in this game in any way, shape, or form is just so annoying to me. Especially with just how easy it is to steal a medkit, and then, you know, the person who actually needs it, they can't do anything about it. Even if it's like a misclick or something. Not to mention, when you're in your inventory and you just want to, you know, like hold out an item or something, even as Bassie, the character whose whole thing is being able to drop items, which I think is complete bullshit, but you know what? I don't have the energy in me to put out a whole video for that, even though I've wanted to for so long. For so long. But, you know, this game is... If there's anything this game lacks in, it's good game design choices. At least in my opinion. Whatever you think about this game, sure. I personally don't agree with most of the game design choices that they make, but whatever. And you'd think with how many flaws this game has that I would just not like it at all. But the weird thing is, I still kind of do, and I don't know why. Maybe it's some sort of like Stockholm Syndrome thing, but like... I can't fully bring myself to like turn away and say this game is dog shit, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, I probably will in like passing conversation, but that's just because that's just like an in the moment like feeling outburst or whatever. But like at the end of the day, I don't think the game is that bad. I mean, it could be better, and it is better than a lot of the fan games that I played today. But obviously, it being better doesn't necessarily mean that it's good, and as I said before, I don't necessarily think this game is that good, to be honest. All that being said, there is obviously an outlier in all this, and that's the fact that this game kind of has a bad reputation with its owners, and, you know, considering that both of them turned out to be kind of complicit in some pretty bad things going on, the morally gray part of playing this game has become apparent in a lot of ways, especially to me, because, like, man, trying to stay positive about this game in the midst of all this drama stuff, it's been really hard, you know? And I honestly don't like to talk about it because not only is it kind of uncomfortable for me, but also I end up saying some stupid stuff most of the time because I don't really know the full picture, and I am very quick to jump to conclusions when I really should just pay attention to what's going on, maybe read up on some of the back, like, documents and whatnot, maybe read into, like, you know, the context and everything. But I'm not a lawyer, nor am I like a really good person at covering drama, so, you know, I don't really pay attention to much of it. Making this kind of video talking about Danny's World and all has been kind of tough, because, trust me, I've been wanting to talk about Danny's World and my opinions on it for quite a while, and I've just been talking it up in my head and never really delivering on it. But now that I finally have this opportunity to, I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, I've never really made that much content on the game before. It was mostly just gameplay stuff, and, you know, I'm not really tied to this game at all, so I'm probably not going to make that much content on it anymore, or much of the Delverlikes. I mean, I'm sure I'll probably will, actually, on the Delverlike thing, but on Danny's World, I don't know. I mean, I'll keep hovering over it and probably play the updates and whatnot, but outside of that, I don't think you're going to catch me on this game very often. So what's my verdict on this game? Well, that's honestly up to you. If you want to play this game anymore at all, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. Just keep in mind, it's not the craziest thing you'll find, and honestly, you'll probably have better luck looking elsewhere. Would you forgive me if I just ignored this one? I've already, like, done my review and everything, and then all of a sudden I get this random thing on my recommendation. No, I'm not reviewing this one. I'm not even just including this in the video.